What My Sherpa Taught Me About Teams, A Guide to Engagement at Work. Written and narrated by Jade Lee. For my Sherpa. Thank you, Govinda, for carrying my pack up and down the mountain of life and supporting me through good times and more challenging times. In memory of my mum, I hope this book makes you proud, an author in the family. To all my friends and family, immense gratitude for welcoming my Sherpa into our lives. Preface. Have you ever found yourself uninterested in your work? Not clear if your job was aligned to your real purpose? Looked back and wondered what happened to your promising career? Found it hard to get out of bed? Or achieved all of your goals and wondered why you were not fulfilled? In December 2014, these were some of the problems I found myself facing. I had been climbing the corporate ladder for years while amassing an enviable investment property portfolio and working for some of Australia's biggest corporates. Hell, one of them was actually known as the Big Australian. But despite all the appearances of success, I was, as I feel many people in Western cultures are in their late 30s and early 40s, completely disillusioned by what I was doing and what value I was adding to my company and its employees. I was working as a talent manager, sourcing and promoting people into roles that the business needed to be filled to realise its goals. I was assisting people to get their dream jobs, but I was increasingly concerned about whether I was really making a positive difference in these people's lives, or simply signing them up for an experience that was not going to offer any more fulfillment than their previous position. When you are an individual who believes in living by your values, it becomes difficult to encourage people to come to an organisation where you no longer believe in the culture, the vision, the leadership, or the contribution that individuals can make. I vividly remember driving back to my house in Brisbane from my parents' place after a lovely weekend away, dogs in the back of my Toyota Echo, when an epiphany hit me. I was a regular at my local bowls club and would stop by and have a chat to the old-timers on my way home from work, and had also made friends with a 21-year-old bartender. He had been discussing his plans to backpack through Thailand, and I was feeling nostalgic about the years I had spent backpacking through Europe in the early 2000s, before I even owned a mobile, back when backpacking really was an unknown adventure. I'd had to set up a Hotmail account, that I still use to this day, before I left Australia, because email was such a new thing. While driving and listening to an audiobook that clearly was not keeping my attention, I was thinking, I wish I could just pack up and take off and travel like I could when I was 21. Then it hit me like a freight train. What exactly is stopping you, Jade? I was already going on a trip to Vietnam and Cambodia in the near future, so I decided to take an additional leave from my job and extend the holiday to 6 months. Still to this day, I have no idea why I looked at a map of Asia and decided that Nepal was not that far from Cambodia, as only an Australian could. I decided to include a side trip to the Himalayan nation and trek to Everest Base Camp. A goal and a backpack. I arrived with a goal, a backpack, and not much else. It was a lofty goal. I had not trained for the expedition. I had not booked a tour. I had one night's accommodation arranged with an airport transfer included for the bargain price of $13 Australian, and I was ill-prepared for the chaos that is Kathmandu Airport. I managed to track down my driver, Ramesh, outside the airport. An interesting idiosyncrasy of Kathmandu Airport is that unless you're travelling, you're not allowed inside. He was proudly holding a piece of corrugated cardboard displaying my name from across the road, and he grinned from ear to ear when he realised that he had found his client. As is to be expected when travelling in a developed
Sample complete. Ready to continue?